Welcome back once again, everybody. It's time. We're getting underway. It's Human Tripwires versus Finest to begin with. This is going to be an exciting matchup. I think, honestly, the fact that this isn't going to be the closest game, probably, from what we think today, is baffling, because Human Tripwires versus Finest should be an absolute spectacle to watch. The fact that there is a more, like, closely, you know, a game that we think is going to be even longer and even more tight is bewildering coming into this one, so I'm incredibly excited for this one. Once again, I'm Twiggy, I'm joined by Moxie. So what do you think about this matchup?
I mean, I think it's definitely going to be close, but how close is really going to be decided on which maps we get to see, because one of the things about Human Tripwires, if you actually look down all of the maps that they've played, they have 3 which they always try and avoid, and in fact, some of them they haven't played since February, including Bind. How often is it that we get a team who avoids Bind like the absolute plague? In fact, the last time we saw it, ASTRA was still a must-pick, so we have absolutely no clue if they do end up on that map, what composition they're going to have, which can be both a disadvantage, but also a massive advantage. Because teams like Finest, they like running Bind, they like running Yario on Bind, they like the curveballs. They can turn their medicine against them.
Well, let's see what their medicine is made of. We can take a look at their highlights real quick, and we can talk about what's going to be going on the Human Tripwires side here.
Yeah, so they've looked incredibly strong, right? And this is something of a big question in my mind, right? Human Tripwires have a really good chamber. We don't really get to see it an awful lot, though. It's only on Breeze and Ascent, and it does mean that it can be pretty easy to counter-pick them. However, as we've seen, they've been able to go toe-to-toe with teams like Excel. They've been able to take them into overtime. They've been able to really push them out of their comfort zone. And a lot of it has come down to how fluid and versatile their composition can be. Right, we've got Mucka and EMBO both coming in to join the team. There was a little bit of a concern raised over the fact that 3 of their players, both Mucka, EMBO, and Robbie, were actually playing in another team entirely. But those concerns have very quickly been put to silence, as there is so much synergy between these 5.
Yeah, I can't wait to see how they're going to come into this one. I mean, this is a team that kind of, well, it didn't come out of nowhere, obviously. We recognize them from, some of them from Stage 1, and I mean, it's not like they did terribly in Stage 1, it's just the fact that they absolutely came into this one completely with a concern. I mean, that a game that they have won, they have not lost a map on, and they also brought XL to, although they didn't win a map against XL, they did incredibly well against them. It's not like the scoreline tells the whole story there. So they're a dark horse, I feel like, to come through and maybe come through and actually get, you know, not just top 4, not just squeeze their way through, actually make an impression on these teams. And it's another one of these unsigned kind of super teams that we've got here in Polaris that I'm incredibly excited to see. Well, let's take a look. You want to talk a little bit about Human Tripwires Asian picks, so I'll let you go ahead and do that.
Yes, the Colorcaster's bread and butter statistics, as our production crew have been absolutely lovely to provide. As you can see, there is a big difference between the jet percentage pick rate and the chamber percentage pick rate. Normally, that's swapped around for other teams, right? Chamber is now becoming really one of those big old must picks because he double dips into all of these different roles. You get a lot of information from him, so he acts in that sentinel capacity, but you can also use him as a duelist for those first opening picks. The reason that Human Tripwires have such a low percentage on Chamber is because they only run him on 2 maps where he is arguably necessary. Both Breeze and Haven being the biggest maps in Valorant's arsenal. What's really interesting for me, though, is that they don't run him on Icebox.
That is yeah, no, you're right, actually. That is an interesting one. I hadn't really thought about it until now, until you brought it up. Obviously, you're like the color caster, you do that kind of thing. But they've got such an interesting agent pool in the fact that they just like kind of switch between it all the time. It's the same with initiators in a way. They're very, very kind of spread out across all of the initiators. They like to use all of them at all times. So it's a fun one to watch always on no matter what map they pick. And maybe we will see something new from them today. Who knows? Well, okay, we can take a look at who they're coming up against here. Finest. They're a little more easy to pin down, I would say. These guys are absolutely incredible. Once again, we can take a look at their highlights. And, I mean, they have made more than an impression, I think, so far, this group stage.
Yeah, Finest is definitely in that discussion of best teams in the tournament, right? And you can see why. We've got a whole bunch of players that we can recognize from Split 1. The remnants of Tundra forming a new team. So you've got Bonka, you've got Yassine, you've got Machina, and Machina's chamber is absolutely monstrous. My favorite player to watch in this crew is Yassine. The guy can absolutely solo carry with an operator if left alone, can flex between the Jet and the Raze. They've got a whole lot of versatility when it comes not just to agent pools, but more importantly to map picks as well, something that their opponents don't really have. The Finest, they don't really have a map that they constantly try and insta-ban, right? When they went up against Hookahs, they insta-banned Bind, and then tried to take Ascent out of the mix. When Kova they came up against, they banned Bind last. So you can see that they don't really mind going on to that map. And it means that they've got just a little bit more leeway, a little bit more movement when it comes to how these matches start, as opposed to Human Trip.
Yeah, I mean, here is the intimidating roster. They are absolutely incredible so far. We'll be able to see if they can keep that one up today. I mean, they've got a lot of the hard work behind them. It's really all about how they can move the momentum forward, I think, against Human Tripwires. If they get this one done, I feel like they have a pretty easy run into the playoffs, so we'll have to see exactly what they bring out today. Maybe they get it over the line, maybe they don't. This is a team that is inexplicably sometimes, whenever they pick their map, whenever they pick first map, so whenever they're the higher seed, they seem to just not win the first map and have to pull off a reverse sweep every single time. So we'll see if that continues. That'll be a fun one. But again, you know what? We need to compare those agent picks. I feel like you can't make a good scientific evaluation of what goes on unless you can compare it to something else. So here, our Finest agent picks.
Yeah, and interestingly enough, their least picked agent is Fade. So
Not
they're
just
actually
least.
one
Not
of
at
the one of the free teams, I believe, that we have in the Polaris region at the moment who have not yet touched the newest agent, instead prizing the Sova more over, despite the Owl Drone nerfs coming on through, and we've already seen the ramifications of those now, right? That you can't just trust the Sova solo to be able to clear those angles, and you have to make sure that there is a player in position within distance to give a helping hand in case the Owl Drone sniffing out the danger is not quite enough, something that Finest has constantly been punished for, it feels.
Yeah, I mean, we're currently in a double initiator meta right now, and Sova is obviously one of the ones that is going to be picked a lot of the time, but I feel like, you know, right now, in this double initiator meta, you can really kind of pick any two from the back, and now that Fade has entered the mix, can really take over that Sova, you know, information gathering kind of, maybe doesn't have as long range as Sova in terms of information gathering, but definitely has the potential to push that one forward, and when combined with, you know, a Sky or a KO, you can do a lot of damage with that, and you can really push forward a lot of the time, and it's why we're seeing so much more aggressive defense, this kind of stage and this kind of meta right now, so, you know, we'll see. Finest, they're a little easier to kind of pin down. We know what they pick with, we know what they like to play, we know what they like to avoid. But let's take a look at the head-to-head between these two teams and see what you've got for us.
Yeah, so this is definitely one of those ones where you can always see the classic head-to-head coming on through. It's the duelists. And this is a little bit more important for Human Tripwires than it is for Finest, because Finest, they do like running the chamber a little bit more than Human Tripwires. And that puts significantly more pressure on D.Va's shoulders, because if you're the Jet, you now have to worry about those Jet nerfs coming through. It isn't just a case of, okay, dash onto site, the way is now blazed for the rest of the team. Now it's, do you use the dash for that early bit of information to try and find that first pick, or do you save it for when you actually need to enter onto site? And this is something that Finest can actually really punish Human Tripwires for and delay the clock. It means that their defense becomes just a little bit more easy to burn Human Tripwires out of those precious seconds.
Yeah, well, it's not all about the players, not all about the agent picks. We have to talk a little bit about maps, because these two are definitely two teams that have interesting kind of tendencies when it comes to map picks. Both of them seem to like avoiding certain things, both of them seem to like leaning into certain things, but obviously because of their kind of agent pick tendencies, their agent pick kind of ticks, it is interesting to see what kind of maps they go for. Do you think they're going to clash? Do you think they're going to be happy with each other's map picks?
I mean, the first question is, do you think human tripwires are going to stay to that word and pick fracture?
Oh yeah, that was a fun one. Yeah.
They did tell us yesterday, in fact, they tweeted out to the world, here it is, we're picking Fracture tomorrow. Robbie is going to go over to the Omen. Devo, the normal duelist, is now going to flex onto the Cypher. Muck is going to pick up the Jet. Embo, who normally plays Omen, is going to pick up the Reyna. And Ratsky is going to occupy the Sova. I'm really hoping that Finest lean into this, and we don't see Finest just immediately bat Fracture out of the map pick. If they do that, I'm going to be really sad, Twiggy. I'm not.
That's the thing, right? That's an ultimate power move. They've gone ahead and said, you know, this is exactly what we're doing. Come on, then. And if they now ban it, it's just like, oh, you were scared, were you? You were scared against us, against Human Tripwires. Wow, look, a team that has done so well so far, a team that is expected to get at the top, they're scared of our Fracture that isn't even a meta composition. That would be amazing. So no matter what happens here, this map veto is going to be incredibly entertaining.
Yeah, I mean, if they do actually come out with that composition, not only will they not have the Viper to cut those sights in half, they won't have something like the Neon to try and push through and human tripwires!
No, they banned it! What?
You were the chosen ones! They banned it themselves!
What a plot twist! What is going on? You know what? That's underhanded. Human Tripwires, I did not expect that from you. I totally wasn't saying that's 100% a joke before we started this. Oh no, what have you done?
Well, Twiggy, what they've done by insta-banning Fracture is they've left Bind wide open. This is a map that they have not played since February in Split 1 versus Hookahs. So I'm going to be extremely interested to see what compositions we're going to have from both of these teams coming out on Bind, because Finest, this was where they ran kicks on Yoru. This was where they just came in with a what on earth composition, and they were able to make it work.
Maybe that's the real power move. Maybe they did all that, and they actually calculated exactly what Finest were going to do. Days in advance, and they knew we're ready for Bind this time. We know that they're going to fall into that trap. We know they're going to pick Bind. We're going to absolutely destroy them on Bind. We'll be able to see, because as I've said before, Finest, their first map, if they pick it, they always lose it so far. They have not won a single map that they have picked if it's the first map. So you never really know here. They've kind of opened the door for Human Tripwires to get an easy Bind win, which would be absolutely incredible. Coming out into a game, 3-4 months after you've played that map for the last time, and being able to take down one of the most difficult teams in Polaris would be... That's actually very intimidating. You know what? Well done, Human Tripwires. I said that your move was underhanded and I hated you for it, but I'll forgive you if you can win this map.
No, I still haven't forgiven. I told them I was holding them to this. This is disappointed colorcaster face. You get the disappointed colorcaster voice. I'm not angry. I'm just really, really disappointed in you.
Oh no, the motherhood disappointment. Oh god, that's terrifying. Here we go. The Asian picks coming through into this one. Obviously, we're seeing the Viper come through. We're seeing the Sky come through. Ooh, but an interesting one in that we've got no Brimstone on the side of Human Tripwires. They have opted for the Astra and the Fade as well to back that one up.
Yeah, I mean they're trying to reclaim my heart and sway me with the Fade pick, but I'm not gonna fall for it.
Yeah.
I'm still very sad that we're getting to see this map. I'm sad that Finest aren't coming in with the Yoru, but I think when you look at the composition coming up from Finest, this is just a little bit more viable, a little bit more safe. Human Tripwires are not going to have something like a Jet. They are going to be relying on Devo to be the one stepping forward as our Finest on Yusin. But what I worry about is that Finest have just a little bit more setup when it comes to getting that raise in, considering Kix is going to be on that KO. And we've seen what a brutal combination KO and a duelist can be when it comes to pressing W. Those flashes are absolutely devastating, and for Finest as well, they're going to have so much utility to be able to throw at these problems. They've got setups with the Viper, they've got double flashes coming out from both the Sky and the KO. But even though Mucker is going to be grabbing a lot of information, they are going to be lacking a little bit on the side of that utility, considering ASTRA isn't not quite the spam smoke machine that she used to be.
Oh, EMBO. Hello. I knew that was just info gathering, but he really did look like he was just going straight in for it. does not get tagged up by the dog in move Finest, and they are really playing to their comp strengths in just throwing utility directly at human tripwires. EMBO is already on the ground, the flash through the wall there, they can just run on through, get on towards site, get control of that one. Unfortunately for them, they haven't found any more kills, and Robbie will take advantage of that onto Kicks. They can get that spike down, but they are now on even members, and human tripwires can try and go for that retake. Machina not letting that happen, too, with the frenzy. I know you're hating every moment of that. Devo, all up to you and Radsky to retake this one. Satchel not quite in the right place. They use that to his advantage, push himself around the corner, but Destructive is there with the kill. It's now all up to Radsky, who has got 2. It's a 1v2 now.
One enemy remaining.
Oof. Yeah, he was close. Fair enough. Fair enough, Radsky.
Close, but unfortunately not quite the round win that human tripwires were looking for. And again, you can see, right, the difference in the amount of utility that Finest has access to being human tripwires undoing. Finest just press W, they get in fast, they know that even if they open with a flash, they have more in the pocket, as opposed to human tripwires who see the toxin screen on the A site, have to step back, wonder whether it is actually going to be a B push or an A push, and that moment of indecision costs them. It means Finest get access to the site, and from there human tripwires are just entirely sidelined, as it is actually going to be 2 rifles. Going to be Vandals coming out from Finest, a costly buy. Human tripwires, if they're able to win this round, they should be able to make it hurt in terms of economy, but here again is that deathful composition that Finest love to run in with. Just move forward, use that immense utility that they constantly have over the defense, get onto the site fast and make sure that human tripwires can't recover.
Already got 2. Nothing with the nothing with those rifles so far. One with the Ghost, interestingly. Human tripwise, it's going to be a pretty difficult task to try and retake this one. The smokes are coming down. Finest have so much utility to work with to keep them at bay. Kick spraying into that smoke does a lot of damage to Mookie already. Sprays a little further. Yassine gets 2. There's the rifle coming into play, and only 1 player left. Radsky finds the head of Yassine. 1 rifle down. 1 more to go, but Bunkar is going to make sure he doesn't get any more out of that one, and they will save that rifle. There we go, Kicks picks it up. They can keep that one into the next round, so a little bit of damage, but not too bad for them. Yeah, and here is the danger that human tripwires face. Right, with the lack of utility that they are going to have, do you play for retake and allow Finest to get into those sites so you at least have utility to be able to barge back onto the sites, or do you try and stand up to it? If you try and stand up to it, you risk it being a fake. Find is one of those maps, after all, where Viper rose to prominence purely by faking that toxin screen over onto the A side. In fact, the exact toxin screen you can see right now in play. Here we go with the Viper's Pit already. We're not seeing any shyness towards it like we did. I can't remember what team it was that was incredibly shy to use the Viper's Pit last time we were on Bind, but either way, Radsky is not scared whatsoever. He'll just push all the way into Machina there. Devo and Radsky getting on the board as well. Once again, Yassine finds 1 pick, but Finest have a lot of work to do. He managed to take the spike all the way around into B short. I'm not sure. Well, everybody from Human Tripwires is rotating to A, so maybe a free site for them. Lovely.
Oh yeah, that's going to be dangerous. Yassine, as well as staying, is going to satchel pack over the Viper's Pit, just creating a lot of noise, trying to keep Human Tripwire's attention long enough for them not to be able to rotate in time over onto the B side. But Destructive doesn't actually know that all of those players are onto the A, and because the Viper doesn't have that much utility to try and cover a site entrance, is having to be extremely cautious and slow, and that has now meant that Human Tripwires do have 2 players in position to be able to jump out of backside.
Radsky is very reluctant to leave that Viper's Pit, as is any Viper player in their ult. Destructive trying to do some work with the Sheriff before they move forward, but at the very least I'll get the information that nobody is actually on site. Can get that spike down. Looking at maybe getting a 3rd round on the board here. They still do have to climb a bit of a mountain, but with every Human Tripwires player outside of the site, location revealed by the Horn. The Flash will find out that they're in Garden now. Yassine has to back all the way up. Lots of utility used from Human Tripwires, but that's 1 kill. Out comes the Showstopper. No kills with that one, actually no damage whatsoever, but a head found on Devo, and now with the paint grenade round the corner, Robbie is able to get there just in time to take him by surprise and get the round on the board, but that was not without its economical damage.
Yeah, and that was a plan. That was a win condition in place for Finest, and it relied on that Showstopper being up just a little bit earlier. Right, the fact that Yassine's able to cross into a hooker And then Destructive with the snake bite delays human tripwires from being able to engage, so that hopefully by the time that that one has cleared up, the showstopper is in play. You've seen us being able to find a pick. Unfortunately, the Viper goes down before the showstopper is there, and you've seen us forced to back out with that terror trail attached to the ankle, giving away the position, which means it's very easy for human tripwires to sidestep the Raze ultimate. And that was a round that human tripwires needed to win. However, losing that many players has cost them in terms of economics, as Devo is forced onto the Judge. Mucker gonna be opting in for the Spectre, and EMBO the Guardian trying to keep up that distance as far as possible. His Finest with 4 rifles can now try and push into showers. Devo gets caught out with the utility in hand, and that should be the push now coming through from the team.
Yeah, Viper's Pit is going to be used to give him some space there. Luckily, A-site, lots of places to plant. Here comes the flash to get through the smoke. They can clear their own Viper's Pit. You know, they just have to get that spike down, but EMBO is just firing straight through into this one and gets one pick onto Kicks. Mucky also getting on the board onto Bonka. They've evened things up quite nicely for themselves. Yasina's going to have to do some work, but down goes the Viper's Pit, and EMBO is able to find his head. It's just Machina now. Only an Incendiary and a Vandal. 21 armor. Not a lot to work with. Has to do a lot here. Can't quite find anybody either. Robbie able to get their second round. That's quite a nice one for human tripwires after Finest kind of made it difficult for them last round.
Yeah, I mean, that's normally the play that we see with Sage, right? Where you push out from showers very quickly, you wall up so that you don't have to worry about a player being potentially in heaven and taking your head off. You get the spike down, you turn the clock against the defense, you pull back into showers, and you play delay the defuse. The Finest, they try it with a Viper's Pit, but unfortunately, unlike the Sage Wall, that smoke does not stop spray. And human tripwires have the weapons to be able to get that spray off successfully, and they do take it 2-2. As now Finest going to be on an eco, just looking for picks, looking for any damage that they can do in the long run. Gonna find one, but Devo not going to go down close enough for the weapon upgrade to come through just yet.
You can't get complacent against a team like Finest. They managed to get 2 kills, and although they've only got 1 rifle out of it, they may be able to clear enough space to get that second and get out of there, and that's pretty much even things up pretty perfectly for them. Now, they have a lot of control in their hands. No map control, but definitely put the fear of God into human tripwires now, who are holding very defensive locations, one in heaven, one over towards CT, and one only one past that kind of 30% line of the map. The timing on that. Yeah, destructive.
They have to be fast though, because EMBO had to use one of those nebulas to stop Finest from being able to grab that second rifle. But with 25 seconds having gone now, those stars are going to be back in place. That smoke, once again, able to delay Finest's push and put those mind games into place. There's going to be a player hiding inside the smoke, as it is going to be a B push. Unfortunately, they don't have hooker control right at this moment. They're going to be relying on Destructive, trying to challenge Robbie to make sure that they can all get safely out from Garden.
Comes that KO out, they can move all the way in now. But Robbie is going to take one by surprise. Destructive a little too late to get the kill before that one comes through, so a trade will have to do. That does mean that they can get the spike down, and they're 4 players up against 2 in this retake. He's suppressed. Waiting, using those smokes, keep them back a little longer. Again, they have a lot of utility to use in these retake scenarios, just to make sure that human tripwires can't get through too easily, and Muggy clears the wrong corner first. It's EMBO in a 1v4. Lots of work here. Machina going to be the first encounter he has. He won't manage to find the head. No damage taken for Machina. Finest come away with their 3rd round.
Yeah, sometimes we call those picks for the greater good. Finest know that there is a player in hooker. They sacrifice one of their own so that Destructive can pop out behind Robbie and get the pick, allowing them to get that spike in the ground and crossing over from Garden. And from there, it's just a matter of policing the angles, right? Making sure that they get stuck in elbow, making sure that they get stuck in back sight. As Finest with a better buy. Gonna start pulling ahead. This is a round that we expect them to be able to win. Their opponent should be able to pick out a lot of information. What's where these players are on the B side, but it's Robbie who falls, and now without this guy, you can see the Stampede Finest already starting to move forward, making sure that the kill translates to a lot of space now created. That shot goes through, but it's the wrong angle check. Mucker is still able to find one. Finest are still making a lot of commotion, and Amber was just forced to pull back and wait for the pinch to start to come through.
At least they've done a little bit of damage, but it's going to be very difficult to get much more out of this round. At least they're all in different locations coming into this retake. They got one player in Hookah, and that can be a big boon. When you're playing up against a team on that B side, Finest are holding pretty safely. Machina peeks his head out, gets it blown off by EMBO. Now a 3v3. Well, he's done quite a lot of work. We still need to get that spike defused if they want anything valuable out of this one. The Showstopper will find Destructive, but not before he finds Radsky for himself. Bonkar trying to do a lot of work, but Devo gets on the board once again. 1v1. The paint grenade is going to push Yassine outside of the smoke, and Devo finds a head as well to get the round for himself and make it 3-3. Devo. Thank God he didn't pick Cypher.
Wow. Yeah, Devo getting the wall bang as well, sees the shoulder, uses it to track where the head is going to be. And Human Tripwires, it's a round that they should not have won. It's a round that they are able to win off of the back of that Showstopper coming into play. And really disrupting Finest's position as well, as you can see. Finest, they have positions to punish when they leap out. Destructive is there with the spray, should be able to get two. But the Satchel Pack jump allows the Rays to cross out safely. And from there, Devo has just enough time to be able to get the defuse. And for Finest, they can still afford to fall by into this round. It's getting a little bit more dicey when it comes to their economy, though, as once again, Devo's going to be very aggressively forward, and Shower wants to stop them from being able to control that ult orb. But here is Yassine coming in with the Showstopper. They want the A side. They've already cleared Lance with the Orbital Strike. And here is the aggression we see from Finest every single time. If they want to take a site, they'll take it in the first 5 seconds.
Robbie manages to find a good flash there, but it's not going to be enough to find 3 kills. So now Finest have control of that A site. The spike is already down. I mean, there's really not much EMBO can do, so I feel like a save is going to come through on this one. Keep that Phantom for the next round. Doesn't really have a lot of utility to work with either, so probably best just to stay away from those Finest players. Give them that 4th round. Not too far gone. You can always come back from 1. He'll happily... He's hunting a little bit. Maybe exit?
Just at this moment, trying to put himself in the best possible position to not get taken out, keep that Phantom in hand, because he also committed the Cosmic Divide. But it goes to show just how fast Finest are when they want to take these sites, that by the time the Cosmic Divide comes through, it does have a rather lengthy activation animation for going into Astral Form, then to going for the distance and area that you want to place the wall, and waiting for it to line up. And all that time, Finest has still been able to empty out the A side of defensive players. As Human Tripwires, thankfully, able to keep a Phantom and cough up enough for a Vandal, should still have a little bit of deterrence when it comes to Finest being able to press ignition, but it is going to be, for the most part, a gamble stack towards the B side. Radsky going to be holding on to the A, trying to get a little bit of information whether Finest are pushing in, and then pulling back into Showers to wait for reinforcements. But this is very predictable. This is something we've seen Human Tripwires do now. 7 times in a row, push too aggressively into Showers, and Finest read it out.
Have to bring out a little more heroics, I feel like, Devo here, if they want to find this round once again.
Smoke's down.
Finest managed to get control of A for free, get that spike down, but Devo, there he is. Rifle in hand. 1 shot onto Machina's head. Makes it a 4v4, and out comes some ults as well. They can move in on that, but Yassine takes down Mucky. Bonkar waiting around the corner of Lamps to take down Devo. And I think that'll spell the end here for the rest of Human Tripwires. They probably don't want to contest this, but they still want to get exits. You don't want to leave this round without something in hand. They've only got 1 kill. It's really not that insane for a round where you had 2 rifles in hand. They're going to have to back up.
Yeah, I mean, they wanted to open out with the Nightfall, right? Using it sort of the way you would expect the Rolling Thunder to come through, not just to clear a site, but also to cause a lot of commotion and confusion for Finest. The problem is that Finest know where they're coming from. You can't take advantage of the fact that Nightfall cuts out all sound and in cases actually gives you wrong sound cues. So for Finest, all they have to do is face the direction they already know that Human Tripwires are coming from, which is everyone TP'd from the B site. Therefore, they are either going to be popping up in Showers and short. You don't have to watch your flanks, you don't have to watch behind you. You just have to face in front. And here now is the costly gamble. Human Tripwires pushed to investing into the operator, having to forego heavy armor in terms of light for two of their players. This is something that has to find value. They're going to try and set it up, not just with the guiding light, but also the nebula to disguise its positioning. But Finest have never really liked pushing B long. They always like to go for the short, snappy A fights.
Well, didn't quite work out for them there. Their entry fragger already taken down. You've seen his life ended. And comes a horn all the way over towards A short, which actually won't catch out anybody, unfortunately for them. All the Finest are already into sight, actually using the opportunity to just take a little bit of space. Not really much more than that. Smoke goes down, but Machine is already in a great location to find the head of Mookie without any assistance. It's a 4v4 once again. This time it is even, and Finest are feeling the pressure. They're backing out of this one. They may go for a rotation. They may just cut sound and let Human Tripwires use a bit of utility here.
Well, there is a problem now posed, though, because Finest have been so slow. Diva with the operator has now crossed over onto that A site. But you can see that Human Tripwires, with that cut sound, they're very unsure of where Finest are going to push from, and the operator, it's floating, it's moved up into heaven, senses that someone's going to be pushing it from showers, the toxin screen. It's going to allow Finest to start to move on to that site, but you still have to be so wary. We've already seen what can happen. No one's cleared Ratsky, but there's the first op shot coming through. Spike is down, but Finest are already reduced to 3 players, and the Viper's toxic hit is actually going to come out, try and blanket the op's impact. As Diva is just hoping that Kix gets drawn onto A short to try and contest.
Oh, Finest have wrested back some control of this round, but they still need to hold off the players in this Viper's pit. A lot of danger coming through. Just random shots all the way around. Kix, their only player over towards that side of the site, is taken down. It's just destructive left. Out comes a showstopper. That'll about do it. It'll also take down Robbie, but you know what? Sacrifices have to be made sometimes. For the greater good.
For the greater good.
Yeah.
Oh, you can tell we've hung around each other too much.
Oh, God.
Oh, it was almost the echo too.
There comes a time where you have to. Comes a time where you have to settle down in your casting, and, you know, work in a duo, and when that happens, sometimes things happen.
Sometimes you just amass into the same blob of pop cultural references.
She's going to turn into a play-by-play very shortly, and it's gonna make me sad. But sometimes sharing is the best thing. Alright.
Human Tripwires are going to be very happy that they can share those weapons that they had in the previous round. The operator is still going to be in Diva's hands, and this time Finest don't have a Viper's Pit to immediately counteract it, and you can see that's only being a lot more hesitant, a lot more cautious on which angle they do decide to peek and invest utility, and knowing that the operator is on board and they can't just cheat death by dropping that massive pit of obscuring sightline smoke.
Yeah.
They do have to really fight and elbow peek and jiggle, smoke and flash their way in if they want to take one of these sites.
Yeah, you can see the way they've attempted to adapt to Human Tripwire's defense here by just not going for the same stuff they were before. Destructive, though, finds himself in a lovely location to take down Mookie. They open up a little bit of A, but they've still got 2 players here holding this one down. That's actually going to push Destructive right back out of there. Radsky in behind. Oh, and Robbie turns around the corner at just the right time to start a flank maneuver. Could come in clutch towards the end of the round. Finest now making an effort towards A. They need to make something happen quickly. 30 seconds left, and that gravity well is going to slow them down even more. They need to get the spike down now. Radsky is going to try and slow him down and manages to find the kill onto Destructive. Machina spraying desperately into that one, but here comes Robbie from behind, and they'll find 3 heads. No need for him to get any more than that done. It's just you've seen left trying to hold down this spike, and the paint shell is going to keep him in the corner. 33 HP left, and EMBO will finish the job. It's a well-formulated retake from Human Tripwires.
Well, you wondered whether Robbie getting that flank off was going to be the difference maker in that round, and it most definitely was. It's a play that we see a lot of times when null command is in play, right? You wait for 30 seconds, you allow the defense to get very antsy, out of position, burn a lot of their utility, then you activate the ultimate to make sure they can't use anything that's left and try and brute force your way into the site. But through all of that, Robbie is just very carefully, very slowly making their way all the way through, tracing Finest's footsteps, and you can see that it takes 2 kills before Finest turn around to anticipate this guy. They had no clue that the flank was there.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes things just... the stars align when you go on a flank and everybody turns around at the exact moment you get there and you're just right behind them the whole time. They have no idea. Luckily for them. Oh, not this time. Devo looking in the wrong location, the wrong side of Fountain. You've seen he'll manage to find that kill and take down the operator player on the human tripwire side, but EMBO is not going to let that happen. Well, not let that make a difference, at least. The Seeker. Once Seeker goes past, sometimes you just gotta let it hit your teammates. Why not? But he manages to get the kill. Either way, maybe that Seeker a destructive think that they were a little further back. And they'll take advantage of that. Only 3 players left on Finest, and they're all stuck in Garden now.
No one gonna try and vie for hook control either, so there isn't really anyone who can try and unseat EMBO. This rate is gonna be that from the Phantom. The Astra actually taking the time using that Nebula to be able to cross into Elbow. Disguising that position as Finest, left with 47 seconds, have to make a choice. You try and push into that A site where the Viper's Pit is going to be playing against you and the operator is going to be blind, or do you hold your medal and still try and push onto this B site, not having any information on how many players there actually are around?
30 seconds left.
Scene is trying to clear corners with an operator. Always a difficult task. But doesn't manage to find anything. Saw the shoulder of EMBO, but there's a lot of utility now back up for human tripwires to try and keep them away a little longer. 13 seconds left on the timer. They need to get the spike down right now, and EMBO's not letting that happen. Kicks finds the trade and manages to move in, but you have to stick this. And here come human tripwires. Robbie will find the first kill. No chance left for Finest now. It's just trying to save that operator at this point. Luckily, that toxin screen gave him the perfect
Last round before the switch.
escape route. Thank you, Radsky. Very nice of you.
And thank you, TP, as well. You can see that Finest really want to keep that operator in the pocket. They know the human tripwires are going to be grabbing an operator for Devo as well. And it is something that they were able to punish in the last round, right? The fact that they knew where Devo's position would be. They had those 2 players' kicks ready to set Yassine up with the operator on the Keo with those flashpoints. So they know where this operator likes to play, and human tripwires this time have actually adapted around it. The guiding bolt comes through,
Wow.
but there is no operator behind it. In fact, it's just an absolute death ball coming out from the defense.
Oh, EMBO! Oh, unfortunate timing on the, It always, every time you're around a corner and you go into your cosmic form, immediately somebody turns around that corner. Radsky will get revenge. At least. There's only 1 player left. Once again, Bonk finding one. Finding... Ooh, that was close. He's being chased from all angles. Can he do anything more with the operator? No, he cannot. Evo manages to make the half 7-5. It's very successful for human tripwires, but I can't say I'm surprised anymore. Finest just can't win their own map pick when it's the first map.
It is something of a tradition for them, however, this is now going to be the true test for human tripwires. Because the amount of utility that is there for Finest, they have so much delay. And I think that's the major concern for human tripwires, right? The fact that, yes, it is a 7-5 half. Yes, you do consider that to be an effective half. But if Finest take pistols and then the second round after, suddenly they're on a more advantageous side and they can burn your clock down. You're going to be running into 2 lots of flashes. You're always going to be running into those paint shells. If you try and push into places like Lamps or Hooker, that Raze is constantly going to be there to pepper you and punish you. And that's before we even talk about what this Brimstone can do, the amount of smoke that between the Brim and the Viper there is going to be available. Human tripwires are running with the Fade, they're going to be relying on that for a lot of information. Finest can always just cut noise and make it extremely hard to predict where they are.
Oh, you know what they say? Gunplay is important. Abilities do not kill in Project A, and only an incendiary and a paint shell have got the 2 kills for Finest so far this round. So holding true to their word. They've kept human tripwires back. Not too far, and Radsky will pop around the corner, pop off Bonkar's head. Yassine getting revenge. And not much
Hey,
more
what is
than
this
that.
flank?
Yeah, Kicks goes. No, Kicks off! It was too close. He does manage to get the kill. There's only EMBO left though.
10 HP.
Yeah, 10 HP. It's you can get
No spike either,
shot
so
in the
you're
foot
not
by a
even
fly
gonna
at
get
this point.
currency for planting. at least there's no point in saving. You
Yeah.
can still look for an exit, and Kicks is low
30
as
seconds
well.
left.
Hey.
13 HP to 10 if you can find the KO first.
One enemy
Oi! There we go. And he turns around the corner with his knife out. No! Oh my... Finest, come on, guys, please hit your shots. I can't be doing this to my heart rate. You cannot. You can't.
Well, Finest will win the pistols. It's a close one, but they will be able to win the pistols. And this does mean that the SMGs and a Bulldog for Destructive is coming out. And do you know what? That flank, not only does it mean that they find themselves in a better position in this round, it also now conditions human Tripwires into being a lot more cautious when it comes to space control. Because just as we saw human Tripwires attempt with the flank from Robbie to condition Finest into slowing things down and constantly looking behind them, knowing that they might potentially have to turn a 180, now human Tripwires is in that exact same paranoid form.
Screen down.
3 players outside of showers here, and we've got Kicks and Destructive waiting for them, but the flashes come through, the paint shells come through, Destructive doing work with the Bulldog, and he can find one. Kicks is going to manage to clean up the rest before Devo can do any more damage with that Sheriff, but it's given Radsky the opportunity to push in. Please check CT, please. Okay. He's made his way through. Now he's in an awkward position, and there comes the rest of Finest to clean things up. And it's not too difficult for them. Once again, I mean, they're buying up riskily, but it's working.
Yeah, it's an expected outcome, but now we should really be seeing human Tripwires trying to use the composition that they have. Because what we've seen at the moment is human Tripwires, despite coming in with a lot of potential information gathering, right? Not only do you have the Sky, who can use the sound cues of successful or unsuccessful guiding lights, you also have the Fade, who can use those haunts, those terror trails, to be able to track Finest's location through the smorgasbord of smokes and flashes that is going to be there on the defense. We get to see them really slow things down and try and attempt to fake and pull the wool over Finest's eyes, and it means that Finest can just push up and find first blood, and human Tripwires from there just spiral out on their own.
It's a massively valuable kill. It doesn't gain them anything, but it definitely loses human Tripwires a rifle and a life. And since that's Devo, it's a pretty impactful one as well. The one duelist. You remember when 2 duelists was normal? You remember that? Wow, amazing. Times have changed. Radsky, maybe just to make it 4v4. They really do need to try and make it flawless from now on out if they really want to get good value out of this round. I feel like you want more than just a round on the board. You do want to set yourselves up nicely for the rest of the game. EMBO taken down to a very nice amount of HP and has to back all the way up out of that one. But here is Machina coming through with a taste of Robbie's medicine. Will they see it coming? They back up round the corners, but it's not good enough. There's so much going on. Machina is waiting, and he finds the first kill. Luckily, there's somebody all the way around. 4 human Tripwires. Monkey finds a kill, but Destructive is there with the trade. Robbie through in showers. Flashes all the way around, but checks the wrong corner first. I feel like it's just EMBO left. Finds one kill. Gravity well to stop the defuse from coming out, but has to do a little more than that. They can still get that defuse. He needs to get that first kill. He will manage to find the first, but the half is gained. It's going to be so close. Oh, he gets it. Half a second left. Oof.
Once again, the flank is huge. And surely human Tripwires, they're expecting it. The way that their players are positioned, one in lamps, one in lobby, one on short, they have to know that the potential is there. Yeah, Machina is able to not just find the pick, but is also able to cause the commotion enough that Destructive stays alive in lamps, wins the contest. And it's a 2 versus 1. You have just enough bodies to be able to keep EMBO occupied so that you can stick that half, win the duel, and then get the second. And Finest, it's an absolute pendulum between these two teams, but they do start to pull away. And when you look at the buy that human Tripwires are coming on, you are expecting the point difference to widen once more.
Prowler coming on through. I'll tag up Machina. Gives him a little bit of information at least. Unfortunately, the Prowler, you can't really see what's going on like a bit of sky utility, so unfortunately, you don't know that he sat there with a judge. Although I feel like now you know. You fired a couple shots
the
into the
cat
smoke.
hasn't quite evolved into a tiger just yet.
Yeah, not quite yet. Oh no! What are you doing, Machina? What happened? Oh no! Oh, Finest, loving getting rid of like guns, aiming on heads and then not clicking on them. I don't know what's going on right now. That's a really impactful kill.
Like, if you don't have a Sova, sometimes you have to be the drone.
But he didn't need to put his gun away to be a drone.
Yeah, it's now allowed human tripwires an advantage that they should not have. As It is going to be an A-site push. The Cosmic Divide is going to be giving a lot away. There's the seizability.
30 seconds left.
Going to be coming on through that and trying to yank players from Finest in so that human tripwires can have a
Spike
guarantee on where they are. But here again is the same flank that's coming on through. Ember's ready for it this time. Doesn't manage to win the duel though. Yassine able to keep that space.
Lucky playing anti-flash. Bonkar does not want to contest that. It's always a scary place to push in lamps on that retake. Devo is coming around behind to get the flanker. Flanker. Flanker flanking? Flanker no flanking? Flanker dead. There we go. All gone. Bonkar. And kicks. Last two players standing for the Finest side.
Standing.
Bonkar no more. Just kicks left in Ninja. But players surrounding him. Now they know exactly where he is. And they'll turn around the corner. Ferrari peak and human tripwires only the first round and a half. But very, very important one.
Yeah, and it all does spiral off. That really unfortunate decision coming out from Machina as, oh, don't make us see it again, Prod.
He did a full cycle. I think his finger slipped on the scroll wheel there. I don't know what happened, but that was.
It feels like it, right? Just go through every single weapon in the arsenal.
Well,
and
maybe he was
moment.
trying to pull out his pistol. Not that I have any idea why, but you know. But
well,
a full
human
cycle,
tripwires, though, they're realizing, right, the Finest are slipping to that mentality. The fact that this game is so close is actually now starting to affect their opponents, and they are doubling down on it. I am a big fan of when teams use timeouts to just entirely throw other teams into uncomfortable positions, not allowing them to regroup and regather and reorientate themselves.
Yeah. Well, they're going to have a lot of time to do it at the least, but yeah, no. You're going to be stuck in that situation where very awkward buy coming up, and you know you just lost a round that you shouldn't have lost, and you kind of sat there thinking about that one. Yassine is doing well, Destructive is doing well, the whole team is doing well. It's just they haven't quite, you know, got the impact they would want in this. Well, in the first half, it was kind of disappointing for them, but so far in this half they had been doing so well, and then it just kind of slipped away from them, and now.
Yeah.
Human Tripwires really could take that momentum and run with it if they play their cards right.
And it is really Finest because going a little bit too aggressive, like we're seeing now, and you can see the way that Human Tripwires have adapted. They're laying traps. They're expecting the defense to come out from that better positions and walk into them, as Destructive is going to be activating a very early Viper's Pit, making it that Human Tripwires do have to just put in a lot of that utility. But here is Fade, here is Sky, chasing you straight out of your ultimate into the waiting arms of Muck, and put the judges there.
It's the magic he did with it. It's a magic. He was doing the little magic trick where it was floating in midair. It got him 2 kills. Amazing. I need to try and learn that one. How do you do it? Destructive, tell us. Tell us how you float the float
Is that like the Viper's magic trick? Instead of pulling a rabbit out of a hat, you pull 2 judge shots from your ultimate.
Hey! Look at this. I got a floating jug. It's better than a normal jug because it can float. Not that that's useful to how
it's terrifying. I'm just imagining now, instead of the Jet ultimate levitating the knives, you just levitate 5 judges.
Yeah. If Viper's just flexing on Jet, like you think you're the only one who can float themselves weapons? Nah. I can do it too. That was a hopeful one, Destructive. You may have a magic judge, but I don't think it can shoot at that range. Bonkar tries to clean up the mess that has been made, but EMBO finds another kill.
Right there.
I mean, these are really impactful kills. Finest they're low on economy.
10
they need those rifles. They have now lost 1 rifle, 1 judge, but it's unfortunate that Bonkar was taken down that. And I mean, 2 kills, not terrible for the team.
Yeah, I mean, once again though, you can see that it is Finest outplaying their own hand. And Human Tripwire more than happy to punish, as this round they will buy into an operator. And Finest should be able to get reasonable buy coming on through. But they're not going to be able to counter buy an operator now. And we are starting to see there is one thing that Finest can do that should disorientate Human Tripwires at least a little bit though, and we are seeing Human Tripwires not being as aggressive as Finest were in their attacks, right? Not quite so gun-ho as to move on to these sites. So if Finest cut noise and play a little bit more passively, Human Tripwires are going to invest a lot of utility, expecting Finest to be a little bit closer than they actually are, and that is something that Finest are now adapting into. This time it's not going to be face checks, it is going to be utility trying to slow burn human tripwires out.
Evo gets himself around the corner with a satchel, finds Machina's head through the wall, through the floor wall, the balcony thing. I don't know, the trip hazard. We'll back up now.
Trip hazard?
Well, it's like ankle height.
That sounds like a toddler in crowded spaces.
Look, if you're gonna have an open window, maybe don't make the bottom of the window ankle height. That's or shin height even. That could be painful. You know what else can be painful? Devo not hitting his showstopper. Blind one. I feel like the incidence of blind showstoppers is going up and up as the game has come out. Everybody used to use it when they knew they were gonna get like 3 kills. Now people just throw it anyway.
Well, yeah, now you have to worry because people spent so long tracking race double satchel pack movements, they'll pick you out.
They can't do it. They can't do it now. Finest have retaken control of the site. Looking down on 2 HP, suppressed in the corner. They can start that defuse. I'm not sure they know what's going on human tripwise, but they managed to get the kills. Lucky getting 2 with 2 HP. Robbie taken down. Destructive. All up to him. Not going to happen. Managed to clutch it out. Human tripwise were in an awkward place for a second there, but hey, 9-9.
I mean, if we're on 2 HP, you can still activate those prowlers. And that pulls enough focus into shooting that one out that the rest of the team can peek out and take out that one player, 9-9, as you pointed out. And this now is where we see the consequences of Finest's mismatched aggression, shall we say, in the round prior. Those 2 players going out of their way and losing their weapons means that their economy is not in the best position. A frenzy is going to be in hand, a Guardian as well, and this is the early level of aggression we also used to seeing Finest commit with. But so too is human tripwise used to predicting and counterplaying it.
I've got your trail.
Sorry, I just couldn't help myself but laugh at Funka flashing out Machina before they turned around the corner there. Just in the corner of our eyes, that's lovely.
So that's the difference between you and I. I'm so used to getting team flash that I just shut up. You just laugh and grab popcorn.
It's so fun to watch. It's just the way they just stand still. The animation for flashes is always so fun to watch. Anyway.
You really do just enjoy Schadenfreude.
Oh yeah. Really enjoy it. People getting hurt. So funny. EMBO finds the kill that he needs to get back that spike control. Throw it on the floor. That's kind of rude, but Kix is going to be holding down this place and finds the head of Radsky. No chance to get in whatsoever. Now the spike is down on the ground. And EMBO is going to have to do a lot of work. And again, Finest have just come back on a round that they really kind of shouldn't have won, considering the weaponry they had in hand. EMBO can still win this one. We've seen him do crazier things. He's going to have to clear 3 players to do it. And Kix is not in that corner. He's behind door number 2. EMBO taken down. And Finest save 3 members out of that round and get 2 rifles for their troubles.
Yeah, Kix being able to just clock the spike carrier with the sheriff in the head and then throwing the 0 point on top of the spike as well, so you know where EMBO's location is. The player is going to be popping up from showers. Thankfully, it doesn't cancel the Cosmic Divide, but with the amount of seconds human tripwires have, I just know that only that is planting on that A site, and so Kix can just lay in wait. They're the first ones to hit double digits. It's a round that they really shouldn't have been able to take if you look at the buy coming on through. As Bonker at the moment is just trying to bait out a shot, see whether or not human tripwires have forced onto that operator.
Oh, lucky. Not facing the right way. Stunned up. Oh, Radsky down a lot of HP. They're all just back there, and it seems like Finest know exactly how they're all congregated over towards Fountain here. And they can just weight them down here, and you can see the 2 A players have completely cleared that whole area.
Oh.
Now Finest know exactly where every single player is, because, well, they've cleared every part of the map except for where they are. Process of elimination.
Dangerous, because Machina is just holding orbital strike, waiting to see if human tripwires are going to be pushed in towards Hooker.
No charges.
Human tripwires, they're seeing that they're being contested in spaces that they're not really expecting. Perspective almost looks away at the wrong moment. It's going to continuously spray through as Finest are pushed all the way up. Human Tripwires now baited back towards the B. They do have the TP at their backs if they want to try and move over to the
30
A, but
seconds left.
we are seeing the stars start to be placed, and this is where it gets dangerous if they give their game away. Orbital Strike is going to be there, and there it is! Cutting through Garden doesn't manage to find a kill, but it does mean that there's only 19 seconds left, and how now are Human Tripwires going to be able to cross out from Garden?
With not a lot of time left, they've actually made their way all the way into A. Radsky finds another pick. They've flipped the switch on Finest. Destructive can't find anything, neither can Machina. Human Tripwires make it 10-10 again. Finest staring down the barrel of losing their map pick. You know what? We said it before the game started. Human Tripwires, they haven't played it for, what, 4 months now? You never know. Maybe this was all calculated.
Well, you can see from the positioning as well, right? Once they know there is an opportunity that Human Tripwires avoid Orbital Strike by going into the TP, but unfortunately they've only got one player really anchoring onto that A site, and they very quickly get overrun because you just used your ultimate to try and keep Human Tripwires at bay to try and burn down that clock, stop them from getting the spike plant. And we're seeing a very fast push coming out from Human Tripwires, or at least they're trying to bait Finest into believing it's a fast push. One has been able to pick out Kicks, but so too has Kicks been able to pick out with a 0 point. 3 of their players in showers. Viper's Pit has been activated. Human Tripwires were really hoping to be able to push onto the A site through that, but Utility has very quickly dissuaded them, and without that control over onto A short, now they're rethinking where they want to push.
Chaotic round for sure. Finest trying to fully take control of the Viper's Pit, and they'll just push in. Radsky does not let that happen, but doesn't see the gun of Destructive as he turns around the corner. See how much health he's actually on. Hold on. Quite a bit. Never mind. Viper's Pit used on the air side as well, but they still need to retake this, and oh, there's the paint shell. Goodbye, Viper's Pit. We will miss you. You were not long for this world. In fact, you were very short for this world, in fact.
Yeah,
it just sounds like I'm insulting its height.
Unfortunately, it wasn't able to stop the spike plant from going down, so now Kix is going to have to try and drop down, or get Yassine close enough to swap off of this operator. They're able to pick up a Vandal off of the ground, but they don't have Lamps control. You've got to try and bait out a fight. Flash Drive should be able to set Yassine up to get a pick, but you can't use the Flash without first hitting your raise. And it's something that Human Tripwires take advantage of. They're the first team off of those first double digits, 11-10. And Finest are looking at their tradition of losing their own map pick, and they're rethinking things.
Oh, I don't have a lot of time to rethink things. Time is ticking down, and it seems like no matter how many little errors Human Tripwires make and how much control Finest get in each round, Human Tripwires are able to take it over the line and just make sure that Finest can't quite get around in their hands. Now they're on an awkward amount of economy, and they're staring down the barrel of match point here. Human Tripwires are going to head towards A to start things off, and they have a nice amount of utility to get in here. Kicks just trying to hold down the site, but no, that's not going to happen. Pop Flash, a little too late. Yassine getting hurt. Yassine? You're just going to... I mean, fair enough. But now they are 3 members. Lucky takes down 1 more. Count with Twiggy. 2, 1, 0. And now it's match point. Flawless round from Human Tripwires, and Finest. I hate to see it happen again, but it looks like it is.
I'm not calling you the count. I'm never calling you the count.
There's a nice ring to it.
What, Count Twiggy?
Yep.
Where are you living now? Sheffield?
Sheffield? No, no. I'm living in Southampton. It makes sense. There's a posh part of Southampton. There's a posh part. There could be a count there. I'm sure there is. I'll ask. I'll ask around. I'll see if I can.
Large enough so you can get yourself a lordship.
I'm the count of my flat.
Well, Finest have to get 2 points in a row if they want to be able to push us into overtime. That's a good first pick, but Human Tripwires are immediately going to back with the Nightfall coming on through. Ashna just forced to hold back of sight. Terror Trail going to be anchored onto everyone on that B site for the next 13 seconds, but that's a gorgeous suppression. And has meant all of the momentum Human Tripwires were trying to build off of that ult is now being sucked dry. As the spike try to cross over onto the A side, but not having Shower's control and not wanting to run into destructive pucks and screens is forced to move back towards B.
Lucky made a bit of a dog's dinner of that kill, but does manage to get it. Bonkar is there with the trade, keeping it in their favour this round. 43 seconds left, and Human Tripwires seem to be heading towards B. They've cut a bit of noise, and Radsky is just holding down the fort. Holding the fort, not holding it down. It's not a balloon. It's not going to fly away.
30 seconds left.
Well, the cutlass seems to have worked. The thing is that if Human Tripwires want to try and move from B long into Garden onto B side, they are going to be running in to a KO with a flash drive. Nice Nebula actually to try and disguise the fact that maybe there was a player who moved into elbow, and it does mean that Kix has looked away, but Bonka's still holding onto the site. 11 seconds left, just has to cancel the spike going down. Destructive has wrapped around as in Hooker. Isn't quite able to find the pick necessary, but now you've seen us there for the crunch.
Spike planted.
It's just Destructive left 1v2. Somehow Human Tripwires have got away with this attack. Destructive has to find these 2 kills and get the spike defused. He's fully flashed. EMBO tries to take advantage, but it is Robbie who will get the 3rd kill and close things out. 13-10, the curse of Finest first map continues once again. They're not getting done with it today. If they're the higher seed and they pick the first, well, they're going to pick the first map. If they're the higher seed, they will lose first map. It seems like there has been no exceptions to the rule so far. I can't believe it. They're going to have to pull off another reverse sweep if they want to win this game.
Well, they have been able to reverse sweep twice in history, Twiggy, so they have been in this position, and they definitely are, of all of the teams, still in Polaris and with a shot of picking up those top 4 spots for playoffs. I would say Finest are the best equipped to deal with that slog of mentality that comes with a free map series.
Yeah, I mean, I can't say... The thing is, right, I feel like it's like, oh my god, Human Tripwires won the first map, but it's also like, I expected this from Finest in some way, and that's not a bad thing. Finest are one of the best reverse sweep teams I've ever seen. They've done it so many times now, and this just doesn't surprise me, and I'm not even scared for Finest at this point. They could still 100% do it. We're now, we've gotten done with the prophecy. Let's get on to the real game, for the next 2 maps. That's what's going on here. So Finest, an uphill battle as per usual, but, if any team can do it, definitely them.
Yeah, but Human Tripwires, I mean, I'm really looking forward to what compositions they offer us in these coming matchups, because there are a couple of maps that they like to avoid, and yeah, Bind was one of them. We didn't know what composition they would be coming out with. They definitely impressed coming out with Fade as well, and you can see it really did challenge Finest into thinking, how exactly are we going to deal with this? Well, in complete contrast, Human Tripwires are the ones constantly adapting the way that Finest are playing, and if you want to be able to excel in Valorant, especially long series, adaptability is by far the most important thing to be able to pull off, and you can see just how close it really was in terms of those ACSs. EMBO coming in with 271 for an average combat score, but on the other side, Destructive so close as well, 252.
Yeah, I mean, you do love to see everybody getting involved. It's always a sight to behold when you see somebody, with a 400 ACS and the rest of the team just supporting them like, yeah, go kill. Yeah, but
we were here for moral support.
I do love to see everybody on a very kind of even. There's only 100 ACS separating Human Tripwires, which in the grand scheme of things, that's lovely. That's everybody getting involved, from start to finish. So it's nice to see that. As always, and Human Tripwires are one of those teams. They are just all very good at the game, is the thing. They're going to have to keep it up, though, for another map, and Finest, they're going to come into their own, I feel like, in this reverse sweep. They seem to like to set themselves a challenge, so it's going to be a difficult one for Human Tripwires to hold them off, I feel like. But they're coming into their own map pick, so maybe they're more comfortable. We haven't seen anybody else do it so far, but hey, if anybody can, Human Tripwires, let's see if you can make the curse whole. If you can finish it off, cut it out at the stem, make sure they can't get that reverse sweep done. We're going to head to a quick break, but we'll be able to see very shortly if the curse will continue.
I play it, but I don't main it.
Sage.
Sage.
Yeah. Andy, that was a bit delayed. I don't know if you knew that one.
Delayed?
Yeah, it was a bit delayed.
Come on, all of these are easy.
I have no clue.
I actually have no clue.
Breach.
Viper.
I have no clue on this one.
It's a total guess.
Breach as well.
You're lying. You didn't say breach.
I said breach. What?
There's no way all said breach.
I
I
heard one say Viper as well.
I said
Yeah,
Viper.
that was. Yeah, that was.
Okay, but I heard 3 say Breach or something like that.
I said breach.
No, you didn't. You didn't. You said Viper. I said Killjoy.
Breach.
Sky. It's Breach, isn't it? Yeah, it is.
I think it's like his arm, his elbow.
Yeah.
I said breach.
Sky.
Sky.
It's Killjoy.
I've never played, I don't know.
Oh, I see it. I see it. That is, you know, a game.
I kind of see it now. Come on, all of these are easy.
I'm lost.
Who has a pocket?
Wait. I think I know this.
Oh, I know as well.
Brimstone.
Yeah.
No, I said Race.
What? You said race? Yeah, it's definitely Brimstone.
I don't see that on Brim. Okay.
Okay.
You know this?
I don't.
I'm ready. I'm ready.
I'm ready too.
Oh my god, it's the rope snowman.
Oh man.
Yeah, I didn't know I was that area. You know?
Okay, I got it wrong.
Okay. This isn't real. I was just say it's in one of the spawns, so we can guarantee one of us get it right. I'll go defend it and you go attack it. It has to be because you know on the edge of the map there's like the shards. I'm saying it's one of those. One of us can win.
Cheating, okay.
Okay, I'll go defender. You can go attacker. You've just zoomed in on ice cream. That is.
Ah, okay.
I was pretty close though.